Gorgeous, my darling.
What's your name and where you come from?
My name is Binita Chetry and I am 8 years old and I am from Assam, India.
Every once in a while on a TV talent show, a contestant shows up who isn't just good, they completely change the game. They take over the stage with a presence that makes you forget their age, their background, and everything you thought you knew. In 2025, that force of nature was a 9-year-old girl from a small village in India. She walked onto the Britain's Got Talent stage and, in just a few minutes, became a global sensation. Her name is Binita Chetry, and her performances were an incredible mix of raw power, insane flexibility, and a warrior's spirit that left everyone speechless. You've seen the clips and the standing ovations. But the Binita you saw on that stage is just the final chapter of a much more incredible story. You've seen 9-year-old Binita Chetry on the world's biggest stage, leaving judges and audiences completely stunned. Her power and confidence are off the charts. But what if the most amazing part of her story isn't what happened in front of the cameras? Before the fame, her journey began in a small town in Assam, India, fueled by a dream and a level of family sacrifice that's hard to imagine. This is the story BGT didn't have time to tell. Let's go back to that first moment. The moment the world met Binita Chetry. She walks out onto that famous stage, a tiny figure in a striking costume. The lights of the London Palladium are reflecting in her eyes. You can feel that nervous energy in the air, the kind that always comes before an act you know nothing about. The judges, Simon, Amanda, Alicia, and Bruno, give her a polite smile, having no idea what to expect. When they ask for her name and age, her voice is soft, almost shy. My name is Binita Chetry and I am 8 years old and I am from Assam, India. Her age at the time of the audition just made her seem even smaller on that massive stage. But then, they ask what she'd do with the £250,000 prize. Her answer isn't about a big career. With a little smile, she says, "I would like to buy a pink princess house." The audience just melts. It was a dream so simple and so pure, it became a rallying cry for her fans all over the world. Then, the music starts, a thunderous version of Eye of the Tiger. And everything changes. The shy little girl is gone. In her place stands a warrior. What came next wasn't just a dance routine, it was a statement. Binita exploded into motion, a whirlwind of acrobatics, power moves, and fluid contemporary dance. She performed with a ferocity that seemed impossible for her size. Backflips, aerials, insane contortions, every single move was hit with power and precision. It wasn't just technical, it was emotional. You could feel her story in every movement. The judges were floored. Bruno Tonioli, a man known for his energy, seemed to have met his match. He famously said, "You have the strength of a tiger and the flexibility of a python." Alicia Dixon was just as stunned, saying, "You were doing moves that I've never seen before, it was mesmerizing." Amanda Holden simply said she was literally lost for words. And then there was Simon Cowell. The man who's notoriously hard to please, who has seen thousands of acts, just looked on in pure shock. He called her performance world-class and said, "A star is born." He even admitted he had never seen such a performance before. The crowd was on its feet, roaring. With 4 huge yes, she was through. In that moment, Binita wasn't just another contestant. She was the one to beat. The video of her audition went viral, and a little girl from Assam became a household name overnight. But to understand how she got there, we have to go thousands of miles away from London, to the small village where this unbelievable journey started. Every great performance has a backstory. Binita's is more compelling than most. To understand the fire she brought to that stage, you have to understand the world that made her. She doesn't come from money or a family of performers. Her story starts in Talbalajan, a remote village near Bokhajan in Assam, India. This is not a place known for creating global dance stars. It's a world of green hills and simple living, a universe away from the stages of London. Her family's story is about as humble as it gets. Her father, Amar Chetry, supports them by running a small broiler chicken farm. He's also a dedicated social worker in his community. The family didn't have much money, but their belief in their daughter was absolute. Binita's journey into dance didn't start in some fancy studio. It started with the internet. At just 3 years old, before any formal training, she was obsessed with dance videos on YouTube. She would watch for hours, trying to copy the complex moves she saw on screen. Her father remembers her learning to dance this way, picking up moves and creating her own style. Her very first teacher was her aunt, Amrita Devi, who saw the raw talent in this little girl and helped her shape it. It was a family affair from the start, built on love and a shared dream. They saw something special in Binita that was impossible to ignore. So, they made a decision: this talent was too big for their village. To give her a real shot, they knew she needed professional training. This led them first to the city of Guwahati, and then, in a move that shows just how committed they were, all the way to Jaipur. There, at age 6, she started training with choreographer Hardik Rawat, who would become a key part of her journey. This wasn't a simple move. It meant turning their lives upside down, stretching their finances thin, and putting all their faith in their daughter's passion. This is the story of sacrifice that the bright lights of BGT couldn't fully show, the story of a family betting everything on their daughter's gift. Imagine being 3 years old in a small village. Your world is your home and your family. Now, imagine having a window to the entire world through a tiny screen. For Binita Chetry and Talbalajan, that window was YouTube. While other kids were playing, she was getting a masterclass in global dance, watching everything from hip-hop to acrobatics. Her father, Amar Chetry, noticed it right away. He saw that she wasn't just copying moves, she understood them. She had a natural rhythm that you just can't teach. It was clear this was more than a hobby. It was a calling. In a village like Talbalajan, dreams are usually practical and tied to the local community. The idea of a kid from there becoming an international dance star would have seemed like a total fantasy. But Binita's talent was so obvious, so powerful, that it started to change what everyone thought was possible. The early training from her aunt was critical. It gave her a foundation and, more importantly, confirmed what the family already believed. But Binita was probably learning faster than she could be taught. She was a sponge, soaking everything up and adding her own spin. As word of her talent spread, she became a local celebrity. Performing at small community events, she was likely stunning friends and neighbors who had never seen anything like her. This early support is often the lifeblood for aspiring artists, building that first layer of confidence. The financial strain on her family must have been immense. Running a small chicken farm is hard, unpredictable work. Every rupee they spent on dance classes or travel was a rupee that could have gone to something else. This is the unspoken sacrifice that fuels so many dreams. It's the story of parents who see a rare talent in their child and decide that nothing is too great a sacrifice. They weren't just funding a hobby, they were investing in a destiny. Think about the courage that took, to look at your 3-year-old daughter dancing to a phone screen and see a future star, and then to build your entire life around that vision. Long before she ever stepped foot in the UK, Binita Chetry was already a seasoned pro. Britain's Got Talent wasn't her first competition. It was just her first international one. The high-pressure world of Indian TV dance shows was her real training ground. This is the part of her story most people miss. She didn't just show up on BGT with raw talent, she arrived as a professional performer in a 9-year-old's body. She competed in some of India's biggest shows, like Super Dancer 4 and Dance Dwayne Jr. These are national platforms, broadcast to millions, with incredibly fierce competition. Appearing on these shows meant moving to big cities like Mumbai, living out of a suitcase, and being under the constant pressure of judges and cameras. This is where she learned to be a versatile and resilient performer. This period was essential. She learned how to work with different choreographers, adapt to new styles, and connect with a TV audience. Her father mentioned she competed all over, which toughened her up and sharpened her skills. The peak of her Indian TV career came when she won Dance Icon Season 2. This wasn't just another show. It was a huge victory that put her on the map, winning with nearly 900,000 public votes. That win proved she had the talent and the popular appeal to be a star. In fact, her BGT journey started right there. A video of her performance from Dance Icon went viral and caught the eye of a BGT talent scout. The show reached out to her family in July 2024, and after months of talks and online auditions, she was invited to the UK. So when you see that unshakable confidence on the BGT stage, remember where it came from. It was forged in the fire of the Indian reality show circuit. She had already faced the cameras and the pressure. By the time she got to London, she wasn't just a hopeful, she was a champion, ready for her next battle. Behind every child prodigy is a story of huge family sacrifice, and Binita's story is a perfect example. Her journey from a small farm in Assam to the world stage was only possible because of the dedication of her parents, especially her father, Amar Chetry. He wasn't just a supportive dad, he was her manager, protector, and travel buddy. Let's be clear, Amar Chetry runs a small chicken farm. It's a life of hard work with a modest income. Yet, he funded a dream that crossed continents. Recognizing his daughter's talent was one thing, acting on it was another. The first big sacrifice was moving her to Jaipur, over 2,000 kilometers away, for better coaching under Hardik Rawat. For a family with limited money, this was a massive leap of faith. Then came Britain's Got Talent. This was the biggest leap yet. Binita traveled to the UK with her father. That meant airfare, a hotel in London, and taking time away from the farm that paid the bills. Amar, the farmer from Bokajan, suddenly found himself navigating a global TV production, all for his daughter. He was there for every step, the auditions, the rehearsals, the nervous waits backstage. He was her rock. While Binita was dazzling the judges, her father was the quiet, steady presence making sure she was safe and supported. "This is not just an achievement for our family but for the whole country," he said, showing how much bigger this was for them. This sacrifice didn't go unnoticed. The Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council back home provided financial help of 5 Indian rupees lakh to support her BGT journey, a beautiful moment where the community stepped up to share the burden. Binita's story is as much about her father's love as her own talent. It's about a man who saw a star in his daughter and did whatever it took to help her shine. The strength you saw in Binita on stage? A huge part of that came from the quiet, unwavering strength of her father. This journey is just incredible. It's stories like these that remind you what's possible with dreams and hard work. If Binita's story is hitting home for you, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss more stories like this. And let me know in the comments, what's the biggest sacrifice you've ever seen someone make for a dream? The decision to compete on Britain's Got Talent was the ultimate leap of faith. It all started with that viral video from her win on Dance Icon Season 2. When the BGT team reached out in July 2024, the Chetry family had a life-changing choice to make. After months of online auditions, the official invitation finally came. In January 2025, Binita, her father, and her dance teacher Hardik Rawat got on a plane to the UK. Imagine that moment for a 9-year-old girl from a village in Assam. Seeing a new country, a new culture, a new climate for the first time. She traveled to Blackpool for the audition, a city famous for entertainment but a world away from anything she knew. The trip was short and focused, just 3 days, with no time for sightseeing. The pressure must have been huge. She wasn't just representing herself anymore, she felt like she was representing her country. This leap of faith also brought her story to a wider audience, and the narrative of the small-town girl with a big dream really connected with people. Her sweet reason for wanting to win, to buy a pink princess house, became an iconic part of her BGT journey. It captured the perfect duality of who she was, a fierce warrior on stage, and a sweet, dreaming kid off of it. That decision to go to the UK was a massive gamble. There was no guarantee of success. They could have gone home after the first round with nothing but a huge bill. But they believed in her. That one act of courage, booking that flight across the world, is what turned a regional champion into a global star. After her explosive audition, Binita was no longer a secret. She was a viral sensation and a favorite to win. But that came with a new kind of pressure, the weight of expectation. Could she possibly top a performance that Simon Cowell had already called world-class? When it was time for the semi-finals, she returned to the stage with even more fire. Her performance was, as Bruno Tonioli said, 10 times more powerful than her audition. She came out like a warrior princess unleashing hell on stage. The performance was a strategic masterpiece. It took everything people loved about her first dance and cranked it up to a whole new level. She proved her audition wasn't a fluke, it was just the warm-up. The judges were in awe all over again. Simon Cowell was direct. "You are one of the best dancers we have ever had on this stage," he said. "You are a warrior, fierce." But this time, it was up to the British public to vote. And they responded in a huge way. Binita won the public vote in her semi-final, sending her straight to the grand finale. This was massive. It proved that her appeal crossed cultures. The people of the UK had embraced her. In her interview afterwards, her humility shone through. "I'm feeling very thankful," she said. "I've worked very hard, and I'm going to do my best for the finals." Despite the praise, she was still grounded and focused. Her victory in the semi-finals made history, making her the first person from Assam and northeast India to reach the BGT finals, carrying the hopes of an entire region with her. The night of the Britain's Got Talent 2025 grand finale was electric. On May 31st, 10 amazing acts took the stage, but for millions in India and around the world, all eyes were on one 9-year-old girl. The support from back home was off the charts. Assam's chief minister, Himanta Biswa Sarma, was one of her biggest cheerleaders, tweeting that her performances had mesmerized audiences from the Brahmaputra to the Thames. This wasn't just a talent show anymore, it was a moment of national pride. For the finale, Binita delivered her absolute best performance. It was a stunning display of artistry and power. Amanda Holden was emphatic, "Every time you do something, I think there's no way she's going to better that. And you have." Simon Cowell saw a potential winner, telling her, "You've now got a shot of winning this entire competition. And you deserve it." After her dance, as she stood on stage, she said, "It's my dream come true to be in the final. And now I really want to win it." But here's the bittersweet part of the story: the voting was restricted to the UK only. It's impossible not to wonder what might have happened if global voting was allowed. As the results came in, Binita was named the second runner-up, securing third place. While British magician Harry Moulding took the top prize, Binita's achievement was historic. She became the first Indian to finish in the show's top 3, standing on that final podium. In her final moments on stage, she beamed and said, "I am very happy and proud of myself, and it's the best experience." She may not have won the title, but she won the respect of the world. Beneath the warrior princess, on stage is a 9-year-old girl who is, in many ways, just a normal kid. It's this contrast that makes her story so special. While her talent is out of this world, her personality is humble and refreshingly innocent. One of the most important parts of her story is her dedication to school. Throughout all the reality shows and travel, Binita has remained a focused student. She's in the 5th grade, juggling homework with professional dance rehearsals. When asked about it, she says simply, "Sometimes, it's difficult, but I manage." That one sentence says everything about her work ethic, and of course, there's her famous dream of buying a pink princess house. It reminded everyone that behind the jaw-dropping moves was a little girl with a simple, sweet dream. It's what made millions fall in love with her. Her humility is just as defining. After getting a hero's welcome back in Assam, her focus was always on gratitude. Thank you so much to my parents and everyone who supported me since childhood. Thanks to them, I was able to represent India on such a big stage, she said. She consistently sees her success as a team.